Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Have you watched ReZero as well and you want to find out whether you're a fake fan, crazy, confused or absolutely normal with your emotions concerning this anime? Or you actually have not watched it yet and you want to find out what actually all these Pinterest fan art with this blue and pink haired twin mates are about, or what those even more confusing memes about this anime actually mean? That's a really good one. I can tell you, you're lucky because today I have it all for you. And whether you just want to find out some essentials concerning the plot and you're just too lazy to go to Wikipedia and read all these articles, or you want to see my discussion on this anime, what I think about this, I have timestamps below which provide you with the needed information so you can whether fast forward or just stay where you are right now, because I'm going to start with the plot right now. So first of all, ReZero is actually a shortcut for Life in a Different World from Zero. It has a total of 38 episodes and 2 seasons. It was released in 2016 and the genre can fit to action, fantasy, adventure, romance and isekai, which in Japanese means a different world. I would also categorize it as a drama, because it is intense at some point. Natsuki Subaru is an 18-year-old guy doing nothing with his life except playing video games. But once, after going to a convenience store, he is suddenly drawn into a completely different parallel world. He's highly confused, gets into trouble really fast, until an elf girl with silver hair, she names herself as Satella, comes along and helps him out. She says her insignia was stolen by a thief named Feld. This insignia means a lot to her, so she wants to get it back ASAP. Subaru decides he wants to help her find the insignia since she was so kind and saved him, where his story begins. The first time the elf girl and Subaru are being killed, which happens pretty soon actually, he wakes up exactly at the same spot where he first entered this new world. And nobody except him actually remembers what happened just a few moments ago. Headbang. It turns out whenever he fails in his new life and dies, he goes back to the beginning of the last life section to redo what he has done wrong. AKA now he has the ability return by death. Reverse time by dying. But it sometimes also happens that the circumstances of the situation change. For example, the name of the elf girl, Satella, after he wakes up when he first was killed, suddenly changed to Emilia. And when he tries to find her in the second try and calls her Satella, she's actually being really angry and mad at him why he is calling her by the name of that witch. And he's like, what the hell? So now he continues his life, his new life, at the Margrave Roosevelt mansion, where he also meets Mage Beatrice and the twin mates Rem and Ram, which are really important characters. I mean, all of them in that mansion, basically. And this is just the beginning of a great or not so great, crazy, brutal, emotional, fucked up, fantastic, painful adventure. I will stop with the plot here now because it would be just too much. But that's maybe the important thing you need to know about the beginning, so you kind of know what can come your way. That's why now I'm going over to the discussion part, the actual review. What I want to say about the characters first is you can see that there are different concepts for each character concerning their development. Subaru, for example, represents the concept of a round character. Means he changes over time. I mean, not only him, but also Rem, for example, the blue-haired, or some other characters reveal their truth or their potential truth, because it's all versions of them, because, I mean, he dies and then he is reborn and he does something differently and then the characters change accordingly. The versions of Rem and some other characters which are shown then really seem to be a lot different from the ones in the beginning. So he kind of chose a completely different path. Unfortunately, there are also some downgrades concerning some characters, as I think. For example, Emilia, which actually hurts my heart. In the beginning, she is the one who saved Subaru and everything starts because of her. But later, she loses her importance. She becomes more weak, more afraid, more scared, insecure at some parts, not all the time, but like the second season a lot. Maybe that's also the intention, to highlight Subaru's development more, but yeah, I just expected something different concerning her. And Subaru, for example, though he changed actually really quickly, like I, as the audience, saw his consciousness is not really aware of it for a long time. So his consciousness for that is shown only a lot later, but therefore even more intensified. So there are episodes where they're actually even 1 episode long, they reflect on their feelings of who they are, but his psychological capacity actually unrealistic and seems a bit disturbing sometimes, but it's also needed for the story. I mean, he goes through all the shades of hell alone basically, and he actually has no other choice, because even when he kills himself, he's gonna be reborn at that last spot. That's basically how the story is kept alive. What I also noticed is the increase in brutality after like the first half of the first season, which was like so unexpected to me, but suddenly there was just so much blood and so much disgusting stuff. But what I really appreciate about this anime, like the concept of it, the shape of it, it reminds me a lot of a video game. Maybe it's obvious to most of you, maybe it's not, but I just really like that there is a mission for the protagonist and there are different bad endings or good endings and versions and paths he can choose and go. There's different ways to die, there's different ways to do maybe stuff even right. And if you die on your mission, you will return to one particular spot to redo that. When you see most anime that are based on video games maybe, or light novel, for example Fate Stay Night, there are different outcomes and they would create a whole season for only one outcome. So there's no switching in between, so you're just on this one path, and how would reality look like if you're on one path? Those different seasons are not related. But here, transcending parallel realities, possible realities, is actually the base of the anime. And it's just something different. Maybe that's what I appreciate about this anime, is that it is something different. I have not seen this before in other anime this specific way. Now I want to talk about something that confuses me. I feel like the anime is like fucked up in regards to morals, relationships. Maybe that's also the reason why it remains interesting at some point and it was not boring, because every time you were confronted with a relationship situation where you're like, how can this even be? For example, a thing that I think everyone actually talks about and thinks about is the triangle relationship with Subaru, Rem, and Emilia. Like, what in the world? This triangle relationship shared is actually awful and doesn't make sense to me. In the beginning, he falls for Emilia like so quickly and he's so determined and everything starts because of her or for her, and he literally puts her on a pedestal, or he puts her first. Though later in the story he has like so many moments and emotions with Rem, and then he's still like, sorry, I love Emilia, and she's like, heartbroken. And Rem is actually so in love and so obsessed about Natsuki Subaru. She like saves him 10,000 times more than Emilia did. And still he does not respond to her feelings as much. Doesn't make any sense. I mean, they even had like physical touches, you know? They had like moments where they like would hold hands and embrace and whatever. And he didn't even have that with Emilia, but still he's like, sorry, Emilia's first. Some later there's one time he says that there are 2 girls in his heart and there's no other girl that would replace them. But this doesn't make it any better, because he's like, I have 2 women. And the worst thing about this is he thinks that's totally fine. He thinks that's totally okay, and nobody says that this is wrong or something. My monogamous morals, perspectives on relationships are suffering. Were suffering when watching this. That was, I guess, the intention of the creators, to keep the audience's attention up. Can you tell me actually in the comments whether you're Team Emilia or Team Rem? I'm sorry to tell you this, maybe some people will hate me now and write bad comments, and I want you to not be too childish with your judgments, but I'm Team Emilia. I have my reasons for that. I mean, that's why I also don't like the downgrades. There are just things in the plot, like in the beginning, which made me literally be disgusted by the twin mates and even be like afraid and a bit disturbed by them. And so I could not accept later behavior, no matter what they did right or wrong. All this obsessiveness, I just dislike it. But that's just my opinion. So now you will understand this meme. I did some research on the internet, and actually there's different versions what he actually could think, that actually he maybe even loves Rem more than Emilia in the end, but he is afraid to admit, or he doesn't want to admit, because Emilia is like his love at first sight and whatever. That's just speculation, and I think it's up to us to decide what we want to believe in or not. So can we talk about the fact that Subaru actually wears the exact same outfit through the whole anime, like both seasons? His tracksuit, I mean, I don't think it's like that he has several tracksuits which look the same. I think it's just one, and it's just amazing how this, after all he has gone through, still looks so good. Like, it doesn't make sense, but well, the last thing I want to mention, then this video will be over. The end is actually unsatisfying. The end of the second season is screaming for a third season, because there is a new start, a new beginning. Ending it there just would like make a huge painful cut, which is just, you know, unsatisfying. So I think there should be a third season. At least like a final season to reveal and to resolve everything that needs to be resolved yet. And that's it from my part. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative, and I hope you could relate to me at some part. If that's the case, give this video a thumbs up and maybe subscribe if you want to see more of that content. Don't forget to comment below if you have anything on your mind, if you want to leave your opinion. Always, always, always love to read your comments. If you want to follow me on social media, I have information on that below as well. And now I say goodbye. We see each other next week. Stay healthy, keep your mood up, stay protected, and we see each other next time. Goodbye.